Well, hello everybody. Welcome to this little deal. I thought I'd get on. I had a interesting patient today, and I wanted to kind of share this with you because I thought it was a good knowledge experience and maybe even a learning experience that went on. I had a patient, and he came in with terrible low back pain, chiropractor. So we see a lot of those. But he's a 44-year-old, 42-year-old male, and he was sitting on my table and he was having a problem. I mean, his back pain, it was so bad that he wasn't able to work, and he came in to get fixed up, and yeah, and he was in pretty bad shape. Well, what had happened was he was sitting on the table when I came into him. I did my examination, so I didn't see him walking, but I sat him down. I did my thing. We examined him. We did everything that we can. I adjusted him. I had him walk around, and he felt better. Not everybody feels instantly better like that. Everybody wishes they did, but they don't always feel perfect. But he definitely saw an immediate improvement. But I was watching him walk around. I'm going, "Are you in a lot of pain, or what's the issue?" And he wasn't moving his feet. So you bend your feet when you're kind of moving out, and he wasn't do that. He goes, "Oh, no, no, no." He had some broken English, but he was talking, and he says, "Oh, my feet's been really bad." He had plantar fasciitis really bad in both feet, so he was always walking very gingerly. And I'm like, "Well, how long did that go on?" And he kind of failed to mention that, but he had been dealing with that for about a year. Well, I'm like, well, that makes sense then, because the way that you're walking is changing the way that your back is and changing the way your knee and your hips. So your foot issue is probably causing your back issue. And he had a pretty hot disc. And I sat down, I explained how everything works together and how everything's moving together. And he goes, "Oh, well, that makes sense." So I got him back on the table. I worked on the plantar fasciitis on both feet, and he got up and he was significantly better. I mean, plantar fasciitis is a chronic issue, but he was moving around. He was doing really good, and then I kind of set him up on a treatment plan. What I'm going, so I went about my day, and I got a phone call, or I got a message that he had been on the phone, but he was canceling his appointments. And I'm all like, "Well, what's going on?" And I called him, and he said that he had went to his medical doctor, and they told him, but he went in for a shoulder, and he didn't even tell me he had a shoulder issue when he was in my office. He said he went in for a shoulder problem, and they told him to quit seeing the chiropractor because it's just it can make it worse, and told him to go in and just take Tylenol and rest. Well, the challenge that we have with that is that he stopped care at my office. And the whole thing that I wanted to talk about with this whole thing was the difference between a holistic doctor, and not just a hippie doctor that's just sitting around here, but anybody, even a medical doctor or an allopathic doctor that looks at the entire body, that realizes that one thing can influence the other, and they want to treat the person and get to root cause rather than just treating the symptom. Well, this doctor, and I don't know who it was, said, "Well, just rest and take Tylenol, and you can, we'll wait it out and come back and see me if it doesn't hurt." Well, there's a little challenge with that, is that because everything was connected, and this guy, he works in the food industry, so he's a server and a manager of a restaurant, but he's on his feet uh, about 12 hours a day, always walking around, serving, moving things around. So it's very important. So you can imagine what the last year was like for him, kind of suffering. He's a hard worker. He's suffering through this whole, all the pain, just kind of he's toughening a buttercup. But I always say the body will adapt until it can't, and then it won't. And that's exactly what happened with him, is that he was adapting around to try to change his movement patterns, and we blew that disc. The disc is a big deal because it takes some time to heal up, get better, do everything that you need to do. Well, the shoulder, because he never mentioned that to me, I don't really know where that came in, and it could have been related. The body's all connected. But one thing that we did notice on his X-rays that I took, because I took those of his spine, was there was a lot of degeneration. So degeneration is going to look, you're going to have some bone spurs in there, and usually the disc is kind of decayed a little. And usually that doesn't happen in just one part of your body because that's different portion. But disc, and I'm going somewhere with this, so listen. Disc, tendons, ligaments, cartilage, fascia, meniscus, all these types of things, they're made out of the same tissue, and it's a very deep collagen. Well, the challenge that the doctor they went to had was told him to take Tylenol. Well, one thing that we know from the literature and the way that it is Tylenol will make you feel better because it will block out some pain temporarily. But it's well documented that NSAIDs will break down the the proteins in that make up the cartilage. So it'll break those down. So it actually starts to decay the the joints, the cartilage, the ligaments, tendons, and things that it's supposed to be treating. But it's not really treating them. It's just dampening the pain enough. And that when you dampen that pain enough, people go about their business. There's even that there was a commercial, it was, and it showed some guy that he was, blessed or rubbing his knee or something. And then it shows them in the park playing football, and they're all, dude, like, what are you doing here? I thought, your knee was hurting. Well, I took Tylenol. Now I can, and it shows him playing football. I always wanted them to show the follow-up video where this guy's laying in the hospital because he blew that knee out because he thought that his problem was pain, and that was just the pain was just the result of the problem. They never got to the problem. So this patient of mine got this advice, and he's going, okay, well, you have a Mercedes and a white coat and a stethoscope. You're obviously the expert. And I'm not putting down the medical doctors because they save lives every day. But they don't really have a business in treating anything chronic or anything long term because they treat symptoms, which is a good thing because nobody wants to be in pain. But you can't stop there because, like, if you just say, "Oh, well, the pain's there," because pain is not a condition. It's like I said, it's the result of a condition. What is causing the pain, and what is causing the cause of the pain? And that's what we do. So what this guy what's gonna happen to this guy is that plantar fasciitis that's already been going on a year. The little progress that we've made is gonna revert back fairly soon. One thing that we know with back pain, joints, tendons, ligaments, contractile tissue is that best way to get it healing is to move it the best you can. Even if there's a little pain, you can move through that. Pain decreases the amount of uh, the movement will decrease the amount of pain, and it'll start to heal the body because it's a natural process. If when we were cave people and we were running around the world and climbing trees and swimming and running away with saber-toothed tigers, and if Joe, you're listening to this, mastodons, because that's your favorite, is that the body's going, oh well, we need to get heal up, so it starts the healing process. For years they said, well, just sit there and just wait for the pain to go away. And sometimes it would work, but at the same time, your body's getting weaker and weaker and it's atrophying. So this young man is going to sit down, take destructive things into his body that's going to help his body decay. He'll probably get somewhat better somewhere along the line because he was pretty acute. Nobody stays, very acute forever. But because now he has a disc issue, he has that foot issue, and I didn't see the shoulder, never mentioned the shoulder, so I don't know exactly what's going on that, but I'm gonna assume from my experience and, the what I saw from the rest of him, there's probably a little degeneration into that joint as well, that he'll feel somewhat better and he'll try to go back to work. And if you've ever taken a week in anything and tried to put it back onto the same level of pressure and everything, as normal, what's going to happen? Is it gonna is it gonna spontaneously get all better, or is it gonna wait a little while and decay even sooner? Which is, if he goes down that same loop, you're gonna take more Tylenol, going to cause more destruction, going to cause more pain down the road, and he's going to try to come back again. And then what do you? How long are you going to do that loop until the disc totally blows out and you're looking at surgery? And the feet, the feet are like hands. We've got almost as many movement or coordination in the feet as we do the hand, but we don't move the feet very much. So that's why like our little pinky toe looks more like it's skin tag than anything else, because you really can't control it. But other than opposable thumbs and fingers, that you should be able, if we trained ourselves, to do just about the same amount of things with our feet as we can with our hands. Well, he's going to lose that. That's going to change the gait and the ankle problem. He'll probably have a destruction of the ankle joint, the knee joint, and the hip joint, usually in that order because of that problem. So you take it upon this guy who works in the food industry, and he was not the owner of the place, but he worked in there. And he worked really hard. He was a hardworking laborer. How much labor is he going to be able to do after the surgery or after this chronic pain? Is he going to do a better job? Is he going to do a worse job? Is he going to get raises for his output of production, or is his hours going to get cut and not make as much money? Now, he lives in Yorba Linda and he rents a place, but how much is rent for an apartment for a family of four or five? Is that going to cause more stress on his body financially and physically? It's just a slippery slope. But I say this to get off. I mean, it's a sad story, and it's not cool. But it goes back down to the title of this: is what's the difference between like a holistic doctor and a medical doctor? And again, neither one is bad, but there's different philosophies. And I had lunch with one of the orthopedic surgeons at UCI by my office. Great guy. We were talking, and we were talking about his job and the cool new things that's going on with surgery techniques and surgeries. And I was impressed. And he was actually really impressed with chiropractic, and he said, what's really great about you is that you get to build up a relationship with the patient, that about their families, and you get to see them back, and I get to see them not only for acute things, but we see them for wellness and optimization, and we see them for nutrition and everything else. So I've always said that in my office, I have clients, I really don't have patients. And the difference is a patient comes in with a condition, you treat the condition, and then they go away, which is fine. But in my office, because we do so much for different things, is that if you come in with an acute condition, we can take care of that, just like this guy I'm talking about. If you want to come in and you want to lose weight, we can do that. We can help that. If you want to help with your optimization of your sports and you want to get more power, then we can help you with that. If you need to detox, we can help you with that. So it just kind of goes so on, so on. So wherever you tend to be in life is that we can help you. And that's how you take care of a client. You have a person, and whatever their needs are, you try to help them the best that you can in your lane. So the surgeon we were talking to, he said, I really appreciate that because I don't really get to know my patients. They get a case file, and it's like a mission. They say, okay, well, we have a disc here, this here, that hurt, and they'll see him a couple times after the surgery, and follow up, and then maybe follow up 6 weeks later, and then maybe. But they don't see him very much. And he said he really wishes that he would have that relationship with some of his patients, because it's something that he missed. That there's that human touch. So because their job is to do surgery and prescribe medications, it's like anything else. If that's the only tool that you have, everything is the same solution. And because they only treat symptoms, oh, your blood sugar's too high, well, here's some insulin. If there's pain, here's some Oxycontin. If you have, toenail fungus, here's some. They're just gonna. There's one pill, one powder, and if the pill stopped working, then you just cut it out, and then just, well, you're getting older. This is how you're doing. And the challenge is that they believe, and we've been trained in this country, a lot around the world, but really bad in this country, is that medical care is health care and everything else is alternative. Chiropractic, massage, acupuncture, naturopathy, reflexology, clinical nutritionist, exercise physiology. All these things these are alternatives to real medicine, a real treatment. Well, which is exactly the truth, because 80% of all the diseases and stuff, I think they're chronic. And that is not a medical condition. That is a physiological condition. And we work with biology, and we work with physiology, and we work with neurology, and all the different ologies that we have. That's what we work with. And like I said, thank God for the medical doctors for heart attacks and cancer treatment and amputations and eye surgeries to make yourself better. They save lives every day. I don't save lives in the short term, but we can help you. I can't say cure, because apparently only drugs and surgery legally can cure things. So we support your back pain, neck pain, headaches, gut issues, pre-Alzheimer's, post-Alzheimer's, ADHD, um, congestion, immune system, reproductive system, family, lifestyle. We support that, so much so that it goes away forever. You can call that whatever you want. But that's the role we play, because what we're looking for is to get to the root cause. So we examine the people and say, okay, well, this isn't working. Just like this guy. It's well, your feet are off because you're on your feet all day and you're shifting your weight. So you're adding some issues, and you're overstressing these tissues. These tissues are going to adapt until they can't, and then they won't, and then they switch off, and this is where you're at. So our treatment plan was to get to the cause. And then if we get to the cause, if you put out the fire, the smoke goes away. Instead of just wafting at the smoke all the time until, can you see better now? This is great. It doesn't work. But that's basically what the medical care does. It's heroic care. It's doing good. But they also take it to the extreme about, well, you don't do this, and you hear all sorts of silly things like, don't squat, it's bad for your knees. Well, squatting is perfectly normal. That is how we sit naturally. Uh, you know, uh, take your medication just in case. And they're, just like, I haven't seen a medication that is not without side effects. And they don't call them side effects. They're just effects, but they're just the ones we don't want. And again, it's not I've never met a doctor that doesn't have their best patients in first and foremost in their thoughts when they're training them. The difference is the philosophy that you're getting them. So if you have the hippie doctors, that's me, that are looking at everything. We want to know how your physical, chemical, and everything else is going on, and we go do a deep dive, and we want to know everything rather than one said, just tell me about your shoulder. If you want to come in for your hip, that's another appointment. If you want to come in for your left ear, that's an appointment. If you're having problems with your bowel, it's a whole different other appointment. We can't break up the body because we know that they all influence it. So the point being is, what would you do? I mean, I don't begrudge the guy because he has two experts telling him different things. And the problem is there wasn't an informed consent. So, okay, well, what else is this going to happen? And it wasn't, take this Tylenol for 3 days and then we can go this and we can do OxyContin and pain management. At least that's a treatment plan and a path. But they never talk about the other side. When I talk with my patients is I say, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z, and you should be around this area. We should be seeing some improvement by X amount of time, depending on the condition. And if it's not, then you might be a medical case where there might be something deeper that I'm not used to seeing. So those are the kind of relationships you want, because again, I have clients and I don't want a client not getting better. And I don't want to discount anybody else's talents in lanes that we have. I refer out all the time for exercise physiologists, PT, um, psychology, neuro. We want that. I want as many eyes on these people as possible. So the point being is that when you're going to the doctor, ask these questions, and if they tell you something, say, okay, great. What's the upside? What's the downside? What are we going to do with this? And if I don't do this, what happens? If I do this, is there anything I should work out for? Just have a conversation, just like you're a person. So, anyways, this was an interesting case because when this was coming on, and I was finding out about this guy, I'm like, I wonder how many other people are going through this dilemma or don't even know about to ask. So if you know anybody that having some issues with their doctor or something like that, just have them open their pie hole and just ask some questions and see what's going on. And the only time you shouldn't listen if the doctor's not listening to you. And if they're just dismissing whatever you're saying as just uh, do as I say and doesn't give you any respect, then you just find another doctor that will work with you because it's your health and you should protect yourself. So, anyways, Bill Janishek, I'm out. I'm going to try to get on and share some things with you as they come up, and just hope that works out for you. So, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.